Austin, Texas shines brightly in the American imagination. It's a city known for its lively music scene, with tunes spilling out from countless bars and venues, especially along 6th Street. People come from all over the world to experience its famous festivals, its innovative technology companies, and its delicious food trucks offering every kind of cuisine. The city is often called the live music capital of the world, a place full of energy, creativity, and youthful optimism. Parks are green, the Colorado River flows gently through its heart, and new modern buildings seem to shoot up every single month, promising growth and opportunity for all who come seeking a better life. This is the Austin that draws people in, the image of a thriving, welcoming place. However, beneath this glittering surface, there is another Austin, one that is often hidden from view or easily ignored by those busy enjoying the city's many attractions. This is the Austin experienced by a growing number of people who have no place to call home. Along the same streets where tourists flock and locals celebrate, men and women and sometimes even families with children are living in tents, under bridges or in makeshift shelters. They are a stark contrast to the city's image of prosperity. Their daily lives are not filled with music festivals or tech conferences, but with the constant pressing search for basic necessities like food, water, and a safe place to rest for the night. This hidden crisis is a reality that Austin is struggling to face. The contrast is jarring and can be seen in everyday life if one chooses to look. A luxury apartment building with rents that only a few can afford might stand just a block away from an underpass where several people have set up a temporary camp. Diners enjoy expensive meals on outdoor patios, sometimes just feet away from someone asking for spare change to buy a meal. This visual disparity speaks volumes about the widening gap between the rich and the poor in this booming city. The vibrant economy that brings so much wealth to some is, at the same time, leaving many others behind, pushed to the very margins of society. It is a tale of two cities existing in the same geographical space, yet worlds apart in experience. Understanding this hidden reality is crucial for anyone who wants to truly know Austin. It's not enough to see the shiny buildings and hear the joyful music. One must also acknowledge the struggles of those who are part of the city's community but do not share in its abundance. The presence of homelessness is not just a side note to Austin's success story, it's an integral part of its current narrative, a challenge that tests the city's values and its commitment to all its residents. The story of Austin in 2025 is incomplete without understanding the lives of those who are fighting for survival amidst the boom, their quiet pleas for help sometimes lost in the loud celebration of progress. One of the biggest reasons so many people are without homes in Austin is the incredibly high cost of renting an apartment or a house. As Austin has become more popular, more and more people have moved here. This high demand for housing has caused rents to skyrocket, making it very difficult for people with lower incomes to find a place they can afford. Landlords can charge more because they know someone else will be willing to pay the high price. This leaves many long-term residents, especially those working in service jobs or on fixed incomes, unable to keep up with the rising costs. What was once an affordable city for artists and musicians is now becoming a place where only the wealthy can comfortably live. The boom in Austin's economy, particularly in the tech sector, has brought many high-paying jobs to the city. While this is good for some, it also puts immense pressure on the housing market. Newcomers with high salaries can afford the expensive apartments and houses, driving prices up further and faster than wages for other types of jobs can match. A small, older apartment that might have rented for a reasonable amount a decade ago now commands a price that is out of reach for waitstaff, retail workers, or teachers. This economic growth, celebrated by many, has an unintended consequence. It pushes out the very people who provide essential services that keep the city running smoothly every single day. It's a simple but harsh equation. When the cost of a basic necessity like housing rises much faster than people's earnings, homelessness becomes an inevitable outcome for some. Imagine trying to pay rent that takes up more than half of your monthly paycheck. There is very little left for food, transportation, healthcare, or any unexpected expenses. One medical bill, one car repair, or a sudden job loss can be the event that tips a family or an individual over the edge, from struggling to make ends meet into having no home at all. This isn't about bad choices. It's often about impossible economic circumstances created by a housing market that prioritizes profit over people's basic needs. The dream of Austin, for many, included the possibility of finding a decent place to live without spending every penny on rent. That dream is fading for a significant portion of the population. The city's growth has been so rapid that the supply of affordable housing has not kept pace with the demand. Developers are more likely to build luxury apartments and expensive condominiums because they bring in more money. This leaves a critical shortage of housing options for people with modest incomes. The squeeze of the boom is therefore a housing crisis, and it is a primary driver forcing people onto the streets, leaving them with nowhere else to go in the city they call home. Alongside the soaring cost of housing, another major factor contributing to homelessness in Austin is the problem of low wages. Many jobs in the city, especially in the service industry which supports its tourism and daily life, do not pay enough for people to afford to live there. Think about the people who cook the food in restaurants, clean the hotel rooms, or work as cashiers in stores. These are essential jobs, yet they often come with wages that hover near the minimum wage, which has not increased in Texas for many years. This creates a situation where even people who are working full-time, sometimes even multiple jobs, still cannot earn enough money to cover basic living expenses, especially rent. The gap between the cost of living in Austin and the wages paid for many types of work is a wide and growing chasm. While the city boasts a strong job market overall, the prosperity is not shared equally. A tech worker might earn a six-figure salary, but a home health aide or a childcare worker might only earn a fraction of that, despite performing work that is incredibly valuable to society. This disparity means that financial insecurity is a constant companion for a large segment of Austin's workforce. They live paycheck to paycheck, with no savings to fall back on if an emergency arises. The stress of this financial balancing act is immense, and the risk of falling into homelessness is always present. This isn't just about individuals not managing their money well, it's a systemic issue. The cost of everything from groceries to transportation to healthcare has been rising. When wages remain stagnant or only increase by very small amounts, families find themselves falling further and further behind. They might have to make impossible choices like whether to pay the rent or buy enough food for their children, or whether to see a doctor or pay the electricity bill. These are choices no one should have to make, especially in a city as wealthy as Austin. The low-wage trap ensures that even those who are employed are constantly at risk of losing their homes. Therefore, the narrative that homelessness is solely due to unemployment is misleading and often incorrect. Many people experiencing homelessness in Austin have jobs, or have recently lost jobs that were already not paying enough to survive in the city. They are part of the working poor, individuals who contribute to the economy but are not rewarded with enough income to secure stable housing. Addressing homelessness in Austin requires not only thinking about housing but also about fair wages and economic justice. Without ensuring that people can earn a living wage, the cycle of poverty and housing insecurity will continue, feeding the crisis on the city's streets. Even when people lose their homes, there are supposed to be systems in place to help them. These are often called social safety nets, and they include things like emergency shelters, food banks, and programs to help people find new housing. However, in Austin, like in many other growing cities, these support services are often overwhelmed and underfunded. The number of people needing help is far greater than the resources available. This means that when someone becomes homeless, they may find that there is no immediate help available, or that the help is very limited and difficult to access, creating even more despair and hardship. Emergency shelters are a critical first line of defense for people who find themselves on the streets. They can provide a safe place to sleep, a warm meal, and a chance to connect with case managers, who can help them find more permanent solutions. The problem in Austin is that there are simply not enough shelter beds for everyone who needs one. Shelters are often full, with long waiting lists. This means that many people, including families with children or individuals with serious health conditions, are forced to sleep outside, exposed to the weather, potential danger, and the constant stress of insecurity. The lack of adequate shelter space is a major gap in the city's response. Beyond emergency shelters, there is a need for a wider range of support services. This includes mental health care, addiction treatment, job training programs, and assistance with navigating the complex process of applying for benefits or housing. Many people experiencing homelessness face multiple challenges, and they need comprehensive support to get back on their feet. Unfortunately, these services can also be hard to come by. There might be long waiting times for appointments, or programs might have very specific eligibility criteria that not everyone can meet. The system can feel like a maze, difficult to navigate, especially for someone already dealing with the trauma and stress of being homeless. The city and various nonprofit organizations are working to provide these services, but the scale of the problem often outstrips their capacity. Funding is a constant challenge, and there is a need for more coordinated efforts to ensure that people can access the help they need when they need it. When the safety net has too many holes, or is too small to catch everyone who falls, people are left to fend for themselves in an increasingly difficult environment. The shortfalls in the system mean that for many, the path out of homelessness is incredibly hard to find, prolonging their suffering and making it more difficult for them to rebuild their lives in a meaningful way. Life on the streets of Austin is, well, a constant series of daily battles for survival, filled with challenges that most housed people rarely have to consider. Finding a safe place to sleep each night is a primary concern. This might mean searching for a secluded spot under a bridge, in a park, or in a doorway, always with the fear of being told to move, having belongings stolen, or even being assaulted. Sleep is often light and fitful, interrupted by noise, weather, or just the need to stay vigilant. This lack of consistent safe rest takes a huge toll on both physical and mental health, making it harder to cope with other daily struggles. Securing enough food and water is another relentless daily task. While some organizations provide meals, they may not be available every day or in every part of the city, so this means people often go hungry or have to rely on asking strangers for help. Finding clean drinking water, especially during Austin's hot summers, can be a serious challenge. Public restrooms where one can maintain basic hygiene are also unfortunately pretty scarce. The inability to simply wash one's hands, take a shower, or use a toilet in private strips away dignity and can lead to health problems. These are not small inconveniences, they're fundamental human needs that become incredibly difficult to meet when you don't have a home. Beyond these basic physical needs, there is the constant struggle against boredom, loneliness, and despair. Days can be long and empty, with little to do and few positive interactions. People experiencing homelessness are often invisible to passersby, or worse, they are met with judgment and hostility. This social isolation can be incredibly damaging to a person's spirit. Maintaining a sense of hope or self-worth is a battle in itself when society seems to have forgotten you or views you as a problem rather than a person in need. The psychological toll of homelessness is immense and honestly often unseen by those who only pass by quickly. Moreover, individuals experiencing homelessness are more vulnerable to crime and violence. They have fewer protections and are often targeted. Their belongings, which might be all they own in the world, can be easily stolen. They also face health issues that are exacerbated by living outdoors, such as exposure to extreme weather, poor nutrition, and lack of access to regular medical care. A simple cold can turn into pneumonia. A small cut can become infected. Every day is a fight to manage these risks and to simply make it through to the next, hoping for a change in circumstances that often feels very far away. Despite the immense hardships and daily battles, many people experiencing homelessness in Austin show incredible resilience and find ways to maintain their dignity and humanity. Resilience is really the ability to cope with difficult situations and bounce back from adversity. For those living on the streets, this might mean developing routines, finding small ways to create a sense of normalcy, or just holding on to hope for a better future, even when circumstances are really bleak. Sometimes it could be as simple as keeping a small area clean, sharing a bit of food with someone else in need, or finding joy in a pet or a kind conversation. These acts of resilience are powerful testaments to the strength of the human spirit. Informal support networks often spring up within homeless communities. People look out for each other, share resources like food or blankets, and offer companionship. These bonds can be lifelines, providing a sense of belonging and mutual aid in a world that often feels hostile or indifferent. An older person might be helped by a younger one, or someone who has been on the streets longer might share tips on where to find services or safe places to rest. These small communities, often formed under bridges or in encampments, can offer a measure of safety and social connection that is crucial for survival and for maintaining mental well-being. Many individuals also find strength in their creativity or personal skills. Some might write poetry, draw, or play music, using art as an outlet for their emotions and experiences. Others might be skilled at fixing things or have knowledge they can share. These talents are often overlooked but are important for self-esteem, and can sometimes even provide a small income or a way to barter for necessities. Finding ways to express oneself and contribute even in small ways helps to counteract the dehumanizing effects of homelessness. It's a reminder that everyone has value and something to offer, regardless of their housing situation. Moreover, resilience is seen in the persistent efforts many individuals make to improve their situations. They might walk miles to get to a day labor pickup spot, spend hours in a library applying for jobs online, or diligently attend appointments with caseworkers in hopes of finding housing. This determination, in the face of so many systemic barriers and constant setbacks, is truly remarkable. It challenges the misconception that people are homeless because they are lazy or don't want to work. The reality is that many are fighting incredibly hard every single day, demonstrating a level of perseverance that is both inspiring and, honestly, heartbreaking given their circumstances. In the face of Austin's growing homelessness crisis, numerous community organizations and countless volunteers have stepped up to provide crucial support and assistance. These groups work tirelessly on the front lines, offering everything from basic necessities like food and water to more comprehensive services like case management and healthcare. Organizations such as Mobile Loaves and Fishes, which provides food, clothing, and promotes dignity, or the Other One's Foundation, which offers low-barrier work opportunities and case management, are just a couple of examples of the vital work being done by the nonprofit sector. They fill critical gaps left by official systems. These grassroots efforts are often characterized by their compassion and their direct connection to the people they serve. Volunteers might spend their evenings preparing and distributing meals or their weekends sorting donations of clothing and hygiene products. Many of these organizations rely heavily on community donations and the dedication of individuals who give their time and energy. They build relationships with the people they help, listening to their stories and treating them with respect and dignity. This human connection can be just as important as the material aid provided, offering a sense of hope and reminding people that they are not forgotten by their community. For instance, some groups focus on specific needs. There are organizations dedicated to helping homeless youth, providing them with safe shelter and educational support. Others might focus on veterans, who make up a significant portion of the homeless population, connecting them with VA benefits and housing programs. There are also street medics, volunteers who provide basic medical care to people living on the streets who may not have access to doctors or hospitals. Each of these specialized efforts addresses a particular vulnerability within the broader homeless population, demonstrating a community-wide response that is both diverse and deeply committed to making a difference. However, while these community organizations and volunteers do incredible work, they cannot solve the problem of homelessness on their own. They are often stretched thin, facing constant funding challenges and the overwhelming scale of the need. Their efforts are essential for alleviating suffering and providing immediate relief, but they are not a substitute for systemic solutions like affordable housing and adequate social services. The dedication of these hands that help is a bright spot in a difficult situation, showcasing Austin's community spirit, but it also highlights the urgent need for broader, more sustainable solutions from the city and beyond. The city of Austin has acknowledged the growing crisis of homelessness and has taken various steps to address it. Official responses include funding for emergency shelters, programs aimed at rapid rehousing, and initiatives to create more permanent supportive housing, which combines affordable housing with services like healthcare and counseling. There is a stated commitment from city leaders to find compassionate and effective solutions. For example, the city has purchased hotels to convert them into housing for people experiencing homelessness, a strategy that can provide shelter more quickly than building new units from scratch. These efforts reflect a positive intention to tackle the problem directly. Despite these efforts, the city faces significant limitations and persistent problems. One of the main challenges is the sheer scale of the need, which often outpaces the resources and programs available. Shelters, as mentioned, are frequently full, and the process of building new affordable housing is slow and expensive. There are also ongoing debates and disagreements within the community and among policymakers about the best approaches to homelessness. Issues like the location of new shelters or supportive housing developments can sometimes face opposition from neighborhood groups, creating delays and complications. This makes implementing comprehensive solutions a complex and often frustrating process. Furthermore, policies related to homelessness can sometimes be controversial and have unintended consequences. For example, past ordinances regarding public camping have shifted people from one area to another without addressing the root cause of their homelessness, the lack of a place to live. While the aim might be to manage public spaces, such measures can make life even more difficult for those without shelter, disrupting their connections to services and support networks. Finding a balance between addressing public order concerns and providing humane support for homeless individuals is a constant tightrope walk for city officials, and there are no easy answers. Ultimately, the city's response, while well-intentioned, struggles to keep up with the rapidly worsening crisis fueled by the housing market and economic inequalities. There is a clear need for more funding, more innovative solutions, and stronger collaboration between the city, county, nonprofit organizations, and the private sector. The challenge for City Hall is not just to manage the current crisis, but to implement long-term strategies that prevent homelessness in the first place. This includes significantly increasing the supply of truly affordable housing and ensuring that economic growth benefits all Austinites, not just a select few. The issue of homelessness in Austin is far more than just a set of statistics about numbers of people on the streets or percentages of rising rents. It touches the very soul of the city, challenging its identity as a creative, inclusive, and compassionate community. A city known for its welcoming vibe and progressive values must ask itself hard questions when so many of its residents are left without basic shelter and dignity. The visible presence of homelessness impacts everyone, from those experiencing it directly to those who witness it daily, and it affects the overall health and spirit of the entire community in profound ways. This crisis matters deeply to Austin's future. If the city aims to continue being a vibrant and desirable place to live for everyone, it cannot ignore the plight of its most vulnerable residents. A community is only as strong as its ability to care for all its members. Allowing homelessness to persist and grow unchecked can lead to greater social division, increased public health concerns, and a tarnishing of the city's reputation. Addressing homelessness, therefore, is not just an act of charity, it is an investment in Austin's social fabric, its economic stability, and its moral character for generations to come. It is about building a city where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. The path forward requires a collective effort and a renewed sense of shared responsibility. It is not solely the job of the city government or nonprofit organizations. Every resident of Austin can play a part in finding solutions. This can start with simple acts of compassion and understanding, like treating people experiencing homelessness with respect and dignity rather than with fear or judgment. It can involve educating oneself about the root causes of homelessness, like the lack of affordable housing and low wages, and challenging common myths and stereotypes. Supporting local organizations that provide direct services, whether through donations or volunteering time, can also make a tangible difference. Ultimately, a hopeful future for Austin is one where everyone feels a sense of belonging and security. This requires advocating for policies that create more affordable housing, support living wages, and provide comprehensive support services. It means encouraging empathy in our daily interactions and fostering a community where looking out for one another is a core value. The challenge is significant, but Austin has a history of creativity and problem solving. By harnessing that spirit, by coming together with compassion and determination, Austin can begin to heal this hidden crisis and truly live up to its promise as a city for all. Everyone has a role to play in writing this next, more inclusive chapter for Austin.